Since I'm starting to take my reselling business a little bit more seriously, I thought it was time for me to start doing monthly recaps on how my business is doing, what my sales were, and all of that fun stuff. So this should just be a quick little video kind of recapping my sales for the month of July. Since this is my first month doing it, I am going to go over the previous month as well. So I'm going to do June and July just so you can kind of see the comparison. I did do a lot better in July than I did in June. Yes, that's right. Even in summer when it is really slow, I was able to more than double my sales for the month. So now let's jump over to the computer and I will show you my sales for the month of June and July so you can see the big differences and how I'm doing with my reselling business now that I'm kind of giving it a little bit more focus. Okay, now I'm in my Vendu looking at my analytics for June, and you can see that my total sales, my total revenue for June was $526.69 and my total profit was $316. So not great, but I have not really been focusing on reselling that much up until probably mid-June when I was like, all right, I really do want to get to $1,000 in profit each month. It's still very part-time for me, but that is a goal that I want to hit. And so I just kind of put a little bit more work into it. So this is what I did in June. I sold a total of 24 items and I listed a total of 44 items. My average sale price was $21.95, so just about $22. And then you can see here that most of my sales were on eBay, but when it comes to profit, eBay and Poshmark were pretty similar, and I made a little bit on Mercari as well. I sold 12 items on eBay, 1 item on Mercari, and 11 items on Poshmark. So if you look at my revenue and my profit, my total profit percentage was about 60%, which is where I like to be. I like to be over 50% in profit because I want to make sure I'm making a good amount of money for the money that I'm putting into my business. So 60% is great. I prefer to be at 60% or higher, but my minimum is 50%. Now let's take a look at July. All right, now you can see that July was a lot better. And yes, that's right. I bumped my sales from June to July, 2 of the slowest months of the year for most resellers. And I was able to more than double my revenue and my profit for the month of July. So let's see, my total revenue was $1,288.15 and my total profit was $807.47. So that is about 62% profit, which is even a little bit better than June was. And I sold 47 items, which was 96% higher than the previous month. So I almost doubled the number of items I sold. I did list a little bit more, but not really that much more. I listed 58 items. And then my average sale price was $27. So that even went up a little bit, up to 25, or that was up like 25%. I hope to get that to over $30 soon, but I do have a lot of inventory left from when I was selling on Whatnot more often. And a lot of that stuff is not stuff that sells for higher prices, but I have it already. I purchased it already. I put the time into sourcing it. So I'm going to list it if I can. So that's why I have some lower price sales as well, which I will show you in a couple of minutes when I show you my top sales and my worst sales. All right, so if we look at marketplace revenue and profit, you'll see that I added Depop into the mix just to kind of try it out. And you can see eBay and Poshmark are pretty much neck and neck for revenue. Poshmark is bringing me more profit than eBay, even though the sales are similar. So I'm just making more profit on the things that I'm selling on Poshmark. You can see I did sell a little bit on Depop and on Mercari. If we look here, my average sales price on eBay is $29.31, and my average sale price on Poshmark is $26.64. So the average sale price is a little lower on Poshmark, but I am making a higher profit on the things I'm selling on Poshmark. Everything's around between $22 and $29 average sale price. And then if you look at items sold by marketplace, I sold the most on Poshmark with 22 sales, then eBay with 20 sales, then Mercari with 3 wholesales, and Depop with 2 sales. My first 2 and only sales on Depop so far. All right, so those are my numbers for the month, and you can see the big differences is that I listed a little bit more. I did focus on pricing better. I think that pricing might be the biggest key for a lot of resellers. You want to get a certain price, you're going to price it a little bit high for offers, and so you can send offers out. And then sometimes items just sit because you were just so hopeful that you were going to get the price that you want. And instead, I've just been realistic. I have plenty of inventory in my office. I want to sell my items. I did say that, one thing I did want to calculate real quick was that I did say I want to have a 50% sell-through rate. So to calculate that, I would do the items sold divided by how many active listings I have. And I had around 120 to 125 listings up on average throughout the month. So let me do the math on that real quick. So I sold 47 items divided by 125 items. So that is a 37% sell-through rate, which is not quite 50%, but it's not bad. So hopefully I can improve that in the coming months. But what I wanted to say is that I really have been focusing a lot on pricing and just getting stuff listed at prices that I know it will sell. If I see something that I've taken pictures of and I already had my VA draft it for me, and I get on there and I'm like, oh my gosh, it has a terrible sell-through rate and the average sale price is like $15, then you know what? I'm gonna list it for $10 or $15 because I just wanna get it moving. It's not worth it for me to hold on to it for a long time just to try and make a couple dollars extra. I'd rather move it, get it out of my store, have a quick sale, show eBay I'm selling my stuff, and move on than try and get $15. So sometimes even if I see the average sale price is around $15, I'll sell it for like 12 or even 10 because if the sell-through rate is like 10%, the chances of it selling for $15 is so low in the next 30 to 90 days, which is when I'd like to sell my items. I don't like to hold on to anything for more than like 60 or 90 days. So I've just been pricing really well. I've just been listing more. And the last thing that I've kind of worked on recently is using different and better keywords, not really just focusing so much on just brands. Like I think I've mentioned in videos recently, I'm using more descriptive keywords, more aesthetic or style-based keywords to kind of get people to find my items. So an example I always use is Y2K. I was there for Y2K and it's so hard for me to list that stuff because I'm like, who is buying this? But people are buying that. They're looking for that style. If I throw that keyword in with my items, anyone who's looking for Y2K style is going to find my items and possibly buy them. So using style-based keywords has been really helpful in making me a couple more sales each month. And I think that I'm doing well considering a lot of the stuff that I'm selling is not that exciting because like I said, there's a lot of stuff that's left over from my whatnot sales, which were items that weren't really items that I wanted to sell on eBay because I didn't want to put the work into them. But here I am putting the work into them anyway, just to get them sold. Now let me show you what I sold. I'm not going to show you every single item that I sold, but I will show you some of my top sales and some of my worst sales. Okay, so I'm pulling up some sales for you. These are not in any particular order. I just kind of picked the ones that I wanted to show you and just talk about. The first one I'm going to show you is this vintage t-shirt, which I thought was so funny. It's definitely, I would say like 70s or 80s, but I'm not good at dating t-shirts, so don't quote me on that. But it says stop staring at my teddies, and it's got these two little bears kind of like covering their faces. I listed this for 25 bucks, and it sold within hours. So don't overlook the vintage tees. I thought that was funny. This I bought at the bins. So at the bins, I put all my adult clothes at like $1 and all my kids' clothes at like around 50 cents, just so I don't have to calculate the individual actual price based on weight. So I sold this for $25 plus shipping, and my profit on this was $19.62. Next up, we have this bag, which just looked like a leather bag, but it had the symbol on it, and then it ended up having tags in it, and it is a leather bag, but it is the New York Ballet logo on it. It says it, if you look at it really closely, New York City Ballet, and it is brand new with tags. Could not find anything like it, so I just priced it pretty high. I think I priced it at $99, and I listed it at the beginning of the month, and I sold it by the end of the month. So it sold within less than 30 days for $89 on Poshmark. With an offer that I sent out, I have automatic offers going out. After someone likes something, they get an automatic 10% off offer, and I believe that's how it sold. So I bought this at the bins for $1, and my profit on this was $70.20. This was something that just did not look that great, and I think people just were overlooking it. But then when you really looked at it, it was real leather, and it had this logo and a tag on the inside. So this was a really good find. I think this might be my best sale for the month. All right, next up, I just wanted to note these jeans because I've been playing around more with kids lots because I live in an area that doesn't have a lot of like brand name stuff all the time. And I really like helping parents get clothes for their kids because even when I go to the thrift store trying to find something for my kids, it's hard to find their size, their style, and all of that. And the thrift stores honestly aren't even that cheap anyway. So when I find kids clothes at the bins, it's really hard for me to pass it up. I either take it to the buy sell trade store or I put them in lots and I sell them online. And this was a lot of 2 pairs of Can girls jeans, and I priced them at 25 bucks. And on Mercari, I do have free shipping because they have no fees. So I just mark it up a little bit to help cover the shipping, but then I also take in the fact that there are no fees, so I cover a little bit of the shipping, and I put it on a credit card that gets me points, so it's just a win-win situation. So 25 bucks, she ended up buying them for full price, and I paid $8.95 in shipping. I put the cost of goods as at $1. Like I said, I do about 50 cents per kids item. just to round. And so after everything, my profit on this was $15.05. Not like the greatest sale, but if you can sell 2 pairs of kids jeans from the bins and profit $15, why not? All right, next is one of my worst sales as far as profit. It wasn't like the best thing ever, but these are something I picked up. I thought they were so cute. I thought about giving them to my son. I believe they're his size. Yeah, 24 month. And I had them listed at $12, and I believe they sold for $12, and cost of goods were 50 cents from the bins. And so my profit on this was $8.55. So not a huge profit on these. So these actually, I lied. These are actually my worst sale, and I actually sold them for a decent amount. It's because I spent so much money for them, and I had eBay promotions on, so I spent a lot in fees on them too. So these are these cute little Matilda Jane dresses. My plan was to buy these and then sell them for like 10 or 15 on Whatnot. They ended up not selling because I stopped Whatnot shortly after I purchased them. So I listed them as a lot because they're all the same size, and I'd rather sell them as a lot than to list them individually. Maybe I should have listed them individually. I'm not really sure. But I did sell them for $41.99, including shipping, since it was on eBay. My fees were $12.54 because I paid the eBay fee, but then I also had them promoted at a pretty high rate. So my marketplace fees were a little expensive. The cost of goods, as you can see, were a little expensive because I bought them at the retail Goodwill, and then shipping was $5.62. So my profit on these was only $6.46. But hey, I still made a profit, learned a lesson, and we're moving on. All right, this is something I found. I might have found it in one of my like thrift with me type videos, but this brand is Honey Love, I believe, and it is a shapewear cami, and it is brand new with tags, and I think these retail maybe around $70 or $80. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. I actually did take an offer on these. I had them listed, I think, at 45. Yeah, I had them listed at 45. I listed them at the beginning of the month, and then I ended up taking an offer for 36. A couple of weeks later, actually, you know what? I messed up on these because I did not buy these at the outlet, so I'm going to change this. I believe I paid $8.79 for these. So $8.79 is what I think I paid for those, around there. So this sold on Poshmark for 36. My marketplace fees were $7.20. Cost of goods was $8.79. I didn't pay anything for shipping, so my profit was just over $20. I actually got 2 of these shirts at Goodwill. One of them was new with tags, and then the other one was new, or was not new with tags. It has some staining on it, like some like color transfer. It almost looks like they got washed with a pair of blue jeans. All right, the next one is this vintage silk like nightgown. It was really hard to get a good picture of it because anything that's like maxi length is super hard to get a picture of. But I listed it at the beginning of the month. It sold a couple weeks later on eBay. I think I had it listed at, I had it listed at $40. I did get this at the Goodwill outlet. And then I sold it for $35 plus shipping. My fees were $11.04. I paid $1 at the bins. Shipping expenses were about $4.55, and my profit on this was $23.16. This is one example of buying something based on kind of like style and what people are looking for, versus brand, because it's not a special brand. It's Claire's Rose. When I did a search for Claire's Rose, it didn't really bring up anything spectacular, but red silk long vintage nightgown, yes please, I will take it. So this sold pretty quickly. As you can see, a lot of these things are selling fast, like within a month of me selling them or listing them, because I'm pricing them well and I'm trying to pick up things that I know will sell and pricing them at a price I know they'll sell fast at. Okay, so this is something that I sold really low, but it did sell pretty quickly. So this is the brand Kite Baby, which is really popular. There's like a loyal following for it, but it does have staining on it. So like you could see the knees were stained, and I just couldn't leave it behind because I knew there was like a mom out there who was like, I just really love this brand. It's so soft on my baby's skin, and I'm willing to buy things that maybe have a little bit of wear because sometimes they're a mess anyway, and whatever. So I purchased this at the bins. I put cost of goods at 25 cents, usually for items that are like baby clothes because those are even lighter. I only listed it for $12. It ended up selling for $12. My fees were $2.95. Cost of goods, like I said, 25 cents. No shipping expenses. My profit on this was $8.80, and some mom got to buy some really cheap Kite Baby for their baby. All right, next we have something a little bit different. I am trying to dabble in hard goods more. This was something I picked up at the bins. I was not sure if I could sell it. I was not sure of anything. I could not find this when I was searching for it, like this exact model. So it is like a camcorder, a Sony camcorder, I think. Is that what they're called? A Sony Video 8 Handycam camcorder. Yeah. And I couldn't even get it open or anything, but I couldn't find anything I couldn't find this exact one. So I had it listed for like $99. I listed it back in April, so it did take a little while to sell, but I eventually took a $50 offer. My fees were $10. I only paid $1 because it was at the bins, so my profit on this was $39. So I did put in the listing that it was untested, sold as is, no returns will be accepted. Just to be clear that I have not tested it, I don't know if it works, but if you want to take it and try and fix it or use it for parts, go for it. So that was a nice profit. All right, this is a pair of Converse. I think it's a collab Converse Telfar. I don't even honestly know what Telfar is, but I did see these. This is one thing I bought. There was this neighborhood garage sale and it was pouring rain, and there were so many garage sales that were canceled, and this was one of the only ones that was there, but it was literally raining. I had to like walk through puddles, like flooded driveways to get to it, and she was selling this pair for $20, and I couldn't get a signal, and I was like, I think this is going to be a good buy, so I bought it for $20. I had it listed for $99. There were comps for anywhere from like 100 to like 170 depending on the size. So I just listed them at $99. I ended up selling them, let's see, I listed them at the end of June and sold them mid-July, so 2 weeks-ish. I ended up selling them for $89 after fees and cost of goods. My profit on these was $51.20. And this last one is not anything spectacular, but this is just a really good example of style-based shopping and sourcing. I didn't make a ton of money on this, but this is like a cute little dress. It actually looks like a very similar style to a Free People dress that I see all the time, but the brand is Rue 21. Nothing exciting, but I saw the style and I was like, somebody's gonna want this. This is like boho. It could even almost be Western in my opinion. And I listed it and it sold within hours. Rue 21 sold within hours. So I had it listed at $20. It sold, and they paid $24.75 with shipping. We paid fees of $3.88. My cost of goods was like $1 at the bins, and shipping was $5.15. So my profit on this was $14.72, but it literally sold within hours. I will take $14.72 within hours any day. That's great, especially when you're shopping for brands like this that are not super exciting, not super sought after. No one's really like fighting for it at the bins. If it's the right style, I will take it and I will sell it. All right, so those were my sales for the month. I'm going to continue with the same kind of thing for August. The only thing is that we are going to be out of town for like 10 days this month. So I'm going to have to change my handling time and message people when they purchase items to see if they're okay with waiting that long. That's what I usually do if I'm gone for 10 or less days. Hopefully I can beat that record of over $1,200 in sales in August too, but it's going to be hard because I'm going to be gone. I do have some drafts already done so that I can be listing while I'm gone, but with the longer handling time, I'm not so sure that I can hit that. But if I can hit over $1,000 in sales and over like $500 in profit when I'm gone for like a third of the month, I will take it. So that's my goal, is to at least match July. But if I don't make it, that's okay too, because I'm going to be gone having fun, seeing family. And it is what it is if I can't make that goal. This is, like I said, a super part-time side hustle for me. I do have a goal of $1,000 a month in profit, but it is not the most important thing in the world to me. I have other sources of income that I do rely on. One of the reasons I did stop reselling full-time is because we do like to travel. So that's why I'm not relying on it for my full-time income. Right now it's a side hustle. It's helping us pay off a little bit of debt that we've accumulated over the last year or so. And I am so excited to see what August brings. And I'm especially excited to come back from my trip and start ramping up my listings so that I have a fully stocked store with great items for fourth quarter, because I know that I can hit and exceed those goals in fourth quarter. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments how your sales were in July. Are you kind of experiencing a summer slump, or were you like me and you were able to kind of boost things even though it's the middle of summer when things are a little bit slower? Let me know how you did, and I will see you next time. Bye.